Well, I didn't become champion at a young age. I became champion because I worked hard. I got the opportunity to work with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and them guys, and I learned the game of boxing. And it comes from hard work. It came from dedication, discipline, And if I didn't do that, I would not have made it. It takes that to become champion. You got to discipline. You got to sacrifice. You got to want what you want and go get it.
Guys, that was Larry Holmes, our special guest today, and this is episode 34 of the Vision Board Podcast. I'm Tristan Cannell. Alongside me, my man, Jonny Stofko.
What's up, guys? We got Larry Legend, I would call him, but that name was taken. Yeah, the Eastern Assassin. Larry Bird got that one, but yeah, Larry Holmes is a legend. For me, he's in the Mount Rushmore of boxing.
You should have heard, if you haven't been hiding under a rock, this man is a legend. He's a man that defeated Muhammad Ali. Yes, a lot of people might say that Muhammad Ali wasn't in his prime, but
he retired Muhammad Ali.
Larry Holmes was killing him in the gym for a long, long time before that. So
yeah, I'm interested in hearing. We're going to ask him about that. Ali, I'm pretty sure, gave Holmes his first job.
Yeah, he did.
He was just a sparring partner. And guys, if you ever been in a gym, a sparring partner means you just get beaten up for nothing, for pennies.
Partner.
Yeah. So that helped mold Larry into one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. So that's another example of adversity being used as evolution. So we're excited to have Larry on.
I think the biggest thing we'll get out, I love interviewing guys that are, Larry's 60, I think he's pretty similar age to my dad.
He was born in
48. 67, I think
he was born in 48.
About 67, 66 years old. So he's got a lot of life perspective. He's had a lot of time to actually, get his thoughts together.
Both
also,
Spinks, Tyson, Holyfield, Ali, Shavers, Norton, guys, those are names he's fought. And
these guys, he's...
And he went out on top, too. He's one of these rare breeds that didn't go out with a horrible knockout. Yeah. I think he won his last 5 or 6 fights up into the early 2000s. The guy fought into his 50s.
Yeah, I love boxing, and I love ESPN when they show all the different, the old fights.
The classic fights?
Classic fights. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part about the sport, too, is as time goes on, the sweet science... It's still 2 men in a ring with their fists in a bell. Let's see who the baddest dude is.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, and still, Larry Holmes was one of the baddest dudes on the planet.
One of those things about back then, why I love those ESPN classics, is because they always have guys like Larry Holmes. They've got always they have the Ali, Frazier, Foreman, all their different rivalries. The ones I really liked, the Sugar Ray Leonard, the Hagler, the Tommy Hearns. Back in those days, the people that grew up in that era was really, really blessed to the fact that these guys, the best of the best, all fought each other. I think that's something that we're deprived of now. Yeah, that's something that the UFC are quite good at the moment. I think that's why their popularity is growing.
You've mentioned it before on prior podcasts. Your opinion, which I agree, there needs to be some type of unification with the boxing.
Yeah.
There's how many separate different organizations?
I think that despite the youth of of MMA, I think the thing that does distinguish out is that UFC is the number one governing body. Was that the proper word to be saying? Or sanctioning body? Is that how they describe themselves as? Or?
I would call it, man, I don't want this to sound bad. I would think the UFC would be more like a monopoly.
Yeah.
There's many MMA organizations, from large ones like Bellator to small ones like your local Nashville MMA in Tennessee. Just using that as an example, one of our guests, Lucas, was fought out of there. He's in the UFC now. So it's just the pinnacle. It's the mountaintop. There isn't any other. It's not like the WBO.
That's a good word, actually, pinnacle, because WBO, WBA, IBF, WBC, there's no difference between them.
Yeah, it's just.
I
actually don't understand. To be honest with you, I don't understand.
Have one.
I don't understand. I don't understand the politics behind it.
Yeah.
No one's ever sat down.
I guess.
Maybe, you know what? One of my buddies was a middleweight champ, but I couldn't tell you what letters Kelly Pavlik. And I wonder if he knows what the difference is, like why one person's a WBO and then this is IBF and then this person is. I just never understood it.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. They should just one linear championship they all go for.
Yeah, just cut. I'm sure it's obvious has to do with money.
Oh, no doubt. Sanctioning fees.
Yeah.
I think that makes a huge difference. But we'll discuss that at a different time, guys. Thanks again for your support and love. We really do appreciate it. If you can continue to help us spread the message by maybe sharing our posts on social media or leaving us a review and subscribing, telling your friends, your family about us, that'll be unbelievable.
You could always contact us on those social media sites. We're always answering messages on our Facebook Vision Board Podcast, on our Twitter, and on our Instagrams, respectively.
Yeah, I love that. I love it when people actually send messages. And it is me and Johnny that actually do answer too, guys. So
yeah, shout out to Craig. I was talking to Craig today for about 30 minutes. He lives in Oregon, and he was just chatting back and forth about different ideas. He was talking about a past episode we did. I love that. That's enjoyment.
I just love that name, Craig.
Craig.
Craig here. It's Craig here. Craig over there.
Well, I love that. I always think about Friday. Ice Cube's character, Craig.
That's in my top 5.
Oh man! At one time, I could. If my little sister's listening, Sarah, she knows. I could quote every single word to the movie at one time.
Day Day number 2.
Oh yeah,
he comes in number 2, doesn't he?
Nah, that's
Day-Day.
Chris Tucker.
Who's
No, that's
the one?
Smokey.
No.
My bad.
Yeah, Smokey.
See,
Day-Day
Day-Day's number. That's Mike
Epps.
Epps. Yeah. He was one of my favorites as well.
We might
That's
have
when
to
they
have a marathon. Maybe we should just smack out a marathon. Man.
Rancho Cucamonga.
You know what?
Yeah, Day-Day.
I might watch that tonight.
She out there.
I gotta pull that tonight. It's so good.
Oh, dude. Yeah,
That's so good.
Next Friday
You
is.
just made my day, actually.
Yeah, next Friday's off the hook. The neighbors in the little cul-de-sac, Rancho Cucamonga. Oh, Pinky at the record shop.
Oh, Pinky. So good. Who plays that?
Pinky.
Who plays that character? He's so good.
Isn't it? I'm gonna get someone's gonna make fun of me for it, but I don't want to guess. Is it? Is it Charlie?
Murphy?
I don't know though. I might be wrong. I'm way off. Forget it. But yeah, go to next Friday.
Friday after next.
Yeah, we're promoting next Friday. Friday after next.
Look at that little pimp guy.
Yeah, Ice Cube. Oh, dude, the assistant pimp.
Yeah.
Now that's another different movie. My bad.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we went way off.
Back to it.
Yeah.
Guys, a big shout out to Populis. Populis, a boutique management consulting company, really helping businesses really launch into the next level of growth.
Yeah, you can check Populis out at their website, www.populis.com.au. Populis, Populis.com.au.
Yeah, great organisation. They've got ties to a lot of leaders from around the world. They've also got the Leadership Show, which is on iTunes, SoundCloud, and also YouTube. So check it out. They've done a big feature with Joe DeSena, CEO of Spartan Race.
Yeah, and the Spartan Race speaks for themselves. The Leadership Show, Populis as well. It's about credibility, adding value, and then also being able to teach. And that's what they do. They help people grow. So that's why we're excited to have them on board as well.
Definitely, it's going to be awesome to keep growing with them, guys. I know you've been waiting between our Friday jokes and. So we won't
Every time I'm in the kitchen.
We got Larry Holmes in the house.
The Eastern Assassin.
It makes me wanna creep.
I got something for your mind, your body, and your soul. I got something for your mind, your body, and your soul.
The Vision Board Podcast, hosted by Jonny Stofko and Tristan Cannell.
Well, our special guest today is Larry Holmes. Larry joins us from Eastern Pennsylvania. He's one of the greatest fighters to ever live. Larry has a professional record of 69-6 with 44 knockouts, which included winning his first 48 bouts. He also holds the second longest reign of title defenses of 19, with only the Brown Bomber Joe Louis with 25 having more. And this spanned over 7.5 years from 1978 to 1985. Not to be outdone, he's one of only 5 men to defeat Muhammad Ali. Our special guest today, Larry Holmes, joins us. Larry, great to have you on the show, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Larry, you fought when boxing's golden age was on. We had champions of the likes of yourself, Ali, Frazier, Foreman, and Ken Norton. What did you all have in common that made you guys the best, man?
Well, we had determination. We had the desire. We wanted to win. And we went out there. We trained. We worked. There was no messing around in between the training. It was just all business, all work. And learn the game and do the best we can. And that's what we did. We had determination, man. Kenny Norton, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, Jerry Cooney. We had determination, man. And today, you can't match them fighters today with us.
Excellent. The one thing that I always think of, too, when I think of Larry Holmes is loyalty. You're in Easton, Pennsylvania. For listeners from Australia, that's about 60 miles from Philly. You fought your career there. You raised a family there. You're still there. You run businesses. You're an entrepreneur. Could you tell us a little bit about where that loyalty resonates, where that started to develop from?
They developed from not having and wanting to have, because we've come from a poor family. We had nothing, and only way we can get it is to work for it, and we worked hard. My dad was sharecropper. My mom, they picked cotton, and we had nothing. And we came up to Pennsylvania when we were at a young age, and we were just so determined to try to make something out of ourselves. People used to laugh at us because we didn't have anything, But I told them that one day we will have something because I'm going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. And they didn't believe that either. So I became a champion.
Larry, did you visualize that from an early age?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Did you visualize becoming world champion at a very, very young age?
Well, I didn't become champion at a young age. I became champion because I worked hard. I got the opportunity to work with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and them guys, and I learned the game of boxing. And it comes from hard work. It came from dedication, discipline, And if I didn't do that, I would not have made it. It takes that to become champion. You got to discipline. You got to sacrifice. You got to want what you want and go get it.
That's excellent. Finally, in December, they erected the 9-foot statue of you in your town. Being able to look at that, are you the type of guy that needs that recognition, or is that statue something that you look at and you're like, man, I earned that. That should have been up a while ago?
Well, I don't think I needed the recognition. I think I needed it for the people, but not for myself, because I know where I am, I know what I did, and I know what I had to go through. I mean, that statue will represent me as one of the hard workers out there. Knowing where I came from and to get where I'm at now. Whoever thought that Larry Holmes would have a statue in his honor on Larry Holmes Drive, where Larry Holmes Enterprises is. Nobody ever thought that. And it shows the hard work. So it's an example that I set for young people. They can do the same thing if they work at it.
Excellent. You're an excellent inspiration and role model to all. I wanted to talk a little bit about, I know when you were younger, you were sparring partners with some greats. One of them you ended up, engaging in battle with, Muhammad Ali. Was he, that mental side that he had, which was so different to others, did he walk around with that all the time when you were sparring with him, or was that something that he was able to turn on and off?
Ali was turning on and off, but Ali was the guy that was crazy about himself, Ali was always positive of what he can do and what he couldn't do. And if he couldn't do it, he was talking himself into being able to do it. And, that's one of the things that I learned when I was working with Ali, man. I learned how to have the confidence in what I was going to do. And I turned out to be all right.
I think you're more than all right, Larry. How did you and Muhammad first meet?
Well, I meet Muhammad Ali by, working at Deer Lake, Pennsylvania. It's at Deer Lake, and I went up there to train, and that's how I got to be with it.
Were you starstruck at all when you first met him?
Well, I wasn't that old. I was like 17, 18 years old, and that's how I learned, I was boxing, and he moved to Deer Lake and needed somebody to work with him, and I went up there and see if I could work with him. And even though I was an amateur at the time, he said, yeah, you can work, because I don't have nobody, I won't hurt him. And, he didn't try to hurt him, so he done good, and we got to be friends, and we got, we've been working hard together.
Do you still remember the first time that you sparred with him? Did you, obviously I remember at the end of his career, you were both saying that you pretty much had the wood on him, you dominated him in sparring towards the end of his career. What was the first session like?
Well, the first session was, trying he didn't try to hurt me. He gave me a black eye. I didn't want nobody to put no ice on it because, hey, man, Muhammad Ali punched me in my eye. I mean, you know how often you can say that and working with the champion of the world. And I was working with the champion. And therefore, you know, nobody believed it, but I wanted to show them that I was able to be able to be good as I wanted to be and working with the champion, you know, like Muhammad Ali.
Larry, do you think you use the word determination, and that determination shows in all you do? You've evolved so many times, from a son to a brother to a world champion boxer, a family man, an entrepreneur. Did that determination start in the ring? Did you already have that in you before you became a champ?
I had it in me before I became a champ because so many people said I was not going to do anything, and I wanted to prove something to everybody that I can become champion. And I would prove it. But, you know, a lot of people said, no, you're not going to be a champ. You can't fight. Whatever, you copy of Muhammad Ali, you can't fight. And, you know, that just motivated me. And so, therefore, I became a champion. So I can say, I told you I'm going to be champion. So,
Larry,
that was it.
we talk a lot about on this show about inspirations and turning negatives into positives. You didn't lose a fight until your mid-30s. While you were undefeated and throughout the rest of your career, was there one shining negative moment that you look back on and it served as a catalyst for growth for you in your career?
Well, one of the things I learned is not to sometimes say what's on your mind. You keep your mouth shut, you know, because when people say something to you, you fight back, and then next thing you know, you're saying things to them that you might regret. And so, you know, you try to learn to keep your mouth shut, and that's one of the things that I try to do over the years, and even now I try to do it. But, you know, sometimes people just don't let you keep your mouth shut. But, you know, that motivated me. When people said that I couldn't make it, I couldn't do nothing, that motivated me. You know, I wanted to prove them. When they called me names and said, because I was poor, we didn't have no money, and they're talking about my mom and my brothers and everybody, we was poor. And, you know, that motivated me to make sure that we can get something and have something. So, I carried that with me everywhere I went.
There's a quote that I recently read, and it's a quote from an old author, and he says, if one ever becomes greater than their product, then the product is at risk of failing. While you were becoming champion and you reached these astronomical heights, did you ever feel that you were close to losing who you are, losing Larry Holmes?
No, I ain't never wanted people to make me. People tried to make me forget where I came from and who I am. People didn't want me to be Larry Holmes, the heavyweight champion of the world, a guy that treats everybody nice. They didn't want that, but I wanted it. And so, therefore, I had to work for it. And a lot of people wanted me to forget it, but I didn't because, you know, that motivated me. I wanted to prove to them. All the negatives that they had against me, I turned it around and made it positive.
Larry, how did you first handle the fame of going from just a contender to the heavyweight champion of the world?
Listen, I was happy because, you know what? I could say, see, you said I was not going to be anything, and I was. I'm a heavyweight champion of the world. And I learned later on, you keep that to yourself. You don't have to tell people who you are. They know who you are. Even the people that criticize you, they know who you are. They know you become champion. And by you not saying anything, makes it burns them more so than it burns me. Because they say I couldn't be the champion. I proved them wrong that I could be the champion. And not only a fighting champion, but a good champion. And treat people like I want to be treated. And that's what made me, I think that's what made me outstanding. Because I'm not a nasty guy. I run into a lot of guys that don't want to sign an autograph or take a picture. I don't want to be like that, you know. I want people to appreciate me and take that picture because they want to take it and they can say they was with the Larry Holmes and took a picture with Larry Holmes. Not because they think I'm greater than great, and I'm not. So, you know, that's what helped me out throughout my boxing.
And that's definitely a beautiful thing, and that's why, you know, Larry, Tristan and I are very grateful for you coming on the show. We talked to some of our friends and some of our mentors and chatted about that you were going to be a guest. So there, you know, a lot of people had a lot of different questions for you, and one of them was from a good buddy of mine I grew up with in Youngstown, Ohio, and he was talking about when you fought Ali, there was a torch there. There was a torch being passed. You kept that torch, you held it high, and it burned bright. And then when you fought Mike, that torch was passed again in regards to the heavyweight division having a king. And then it seemed like that torch kind of burned out after Mike lost his energy, and it never got relit. Do you feel that that's the reason, especially with heavyweights, that it's not, the boxing sport isn't where it used to be?
Well, listen, man. You can judge the people. You can judge the person after the first 1 or 2 times you meet. You know a person, and you know what they're gonna do and what they're not gonna do. And I told everybody from the beginning, Mike Tyson, he might be heavyweight champion for about a minute and a half, but he's not gonna be a great fighter. Now they're trying to prove me wrong. Every time you turn around, Mike Tyson on TV doing something, one thing or another. But he's not the great fighter of all time. You look at his record and see who he got beat by. Look at his record. But they're paying to see him talk. They're paying to see him act the fool. And you know what? I don't want to be an example like that. I don't want people to, and I don't want people to, look at me like, I'm crazy, because I act crazy. I don't want people to say, Larry, he ain't this because he punched that guy in the mouth. But Mike Tyson gets away with everything. He went to jail for 3 years. He raped the girl and stuff like that. And then they want to make him great. But you know what? That's him. But don't put me in that category that you put him in. But they want to talk about how great he is and how great he is. But, I ain't never told a fighter that I want to eat your kids. I eat your babies. I do this. I do that. I never got on TV and said all that negative stuff like he did. And people put him up there like he said. I don't want his autograph. Yeah. I don't want his autograph. I don't want that. But if these people want to be around him and want his autograph to take pictures with him, so be it. But that ain't Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes don't do that.
Yeah, you actually just enlightened me. I feel the sad part about that has a lot to say about our culture and a lot to say about where maybe as people we're evolving rather than the person. Because for somebody you're right, man. For somebody to want to be around that's not a role model. That's not how I want my son or my daughters, if I ever have kids, to look up to. I'd want them to look up to the guy who, won humbly and had, all these traits like integrity and loyalty. So that's a great point. Yeah, another question.
I know. I'm sorry. I know, for one, I got kids and they want to say I'm a great dad. I'm a great dad. I want to be a great dad to my kids. I want to be a great guy to your kids and everybody kids around the world. I don't want to talk bad about you or anybody that I fought or anybody who beat me or whatever like that. I don't want to talk bad about. I don't want to talk bad about Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson makes you talk bad about him. And what irks me on is that he gets away with a lot of this stuff by the press and media, and you bring him down and you endorse his product. The other day I just made a cartoon with Mike Tyson. He's the man that made a cartoon of him, and they give me like 10 seconds, and they give him the whole hour and a half or whatever it is. But I'm just trying to say, why they want bad. You shouldn't want to promote ignorance. And that's what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate thing.
Larry, do you still watch any of your old fights?
No, I don't watch the old fights too much no more. But I got boxes and boxes of tapes. And I've been moving around, and I said, wow, I didn't know I had this. Wow, I didn't know I had that. And one of these days, I'm going to take time and to go back in there and look at a lot of the stuff that I have done, and look at the old fighters that I met in a way like the Joe Lewis and the Sugar Ray Robinson and people like that. I want to do that one day.
Are they the two guys that you looked up to the most when you were coming through before you met the Ali and Frasers? Were they your heroes?
Well, yeah, my mom always talked about Joe Lewis and everybody. That's the thing with me. I like those guys. I got to meet Joe Lewis, Sugar Ray Robinson, Floyd Patterson. I got to meet them guys, man. And they were great guys, They were great guys. So I talk about them. I might not have a picture of everybody that I talk to, but it's in my mind. It's in my body, So it would never leave.
of those guys that you actually shared the ring with, I mean, there's Shavers, Ali, Norton, Holyfield, Tyson, Spinks. Which one, while you were fighting, if I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you had to, which maybe one moment of any of those fighters that you remember and that you told yourself, man, this guy get hit?
Ernie Shavers the only one that got hit, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Ernie Shavers hit me harder than anybody in boxing. He hit me harder than anybody in boxing. And people ask me all the time, who hit the hardest? Ernie Shavers. And then who was the second hardest? I said Jerry Cooney.
Okay, yeah.
And who was the third hardest? Monado Snipes. I mean, these guys hit me, and they hit me. Jerry Cooney hit me hard and didn't know he did. You know, I walked back to the corner holding my rope and nobody knew it. Because that's how hard he hit. You know, Ernie Shavers hit me and he showed you how he hit. He knocked me down. I had to use everything I could do to get up. But, you know, that's what makes me a fighter. That's what made me a fighter. That made me the man that I am. Because I didn't underestimate Jerry Cooney when I was like, or Ernie Shavers, or nobody, or Muhammad Ali. I never underestimated them. But they got one in, they got one in. I always say, you won't get that one again. You know, because I don't want you to hit me the same place twice. You know what I mean? So I should be doing something to cover that mistake I made.
Yeah.
And I don't like to make the mistake twice. But those guys were good fighters. They was good. And Ernie Shavers is the hardest puncher that I ever fought.
Yeah, there was something about those you guys, man. There was like this grit and this willingness to get hit and almost need to get hit to turn it on. And I miss that. I miss watching guys like that, especially in the heavyweight division. I mean, it's crazy to think that, you know, you fought the likes of these names, and in a sport that's so brutal at the highest level, you didn't go out on a losing streak. Like, if you look at your record, I think I might be wrong, 4 or 5 wins in a row, and then you finally stopped fighting. That's also something nobody ever talks about. How was that? Was that easy to walk away from? Is that how you wanted to do it?
Well, you know, it's not easy to walk away from $1 million. It's kind of hard to do it. But, you know, at age 52, you know, people making me quit, and they wanted me to quit. So I said, what the hell, I just go ahead and quit, because, I was okay. Financially, I was okay, you know. But I just like to fight, you know, and I still thought I could fight by me picking opponents that I need to fight. Like, if you would say, hey, look, Larry, you're 52 years old, but you can fight Lennox Lewis. I was fighting Lennox Lewis because he's tall. He don't have a jab like I have a jab, and he don't need punches on it. But I think I can stay away from him. I thought at that time, stay away from him enough not to get hit with the punches that he's gonna throw. You understand? And he don't have the biggest heart in the world. Lennox Lewis is a front runner. If he gets you hit, he kill you. He kill you up. But at first, he ain't gonna do that. You know, he ain't gonna do that. And you know, and that's what fighters do. You know, we fight like that. We talk a lot of shit, but then we need to back it up. Mike Tyson said a whole bunch of dirty stuff to Lennox Lewis. How he eat his baby, how he's a queer and everything. And went out there and Lennox Lewis beat him up and knocked him out. And he's back in the corner telling how great Lennox Lewis is and wipe the sweat off his face. Come on, give me a break. He was wiping the sweat off Mike Tyson. I be calling him all kinds of names and everything and talking about what he'll do to him. And then after the fight's all over, Lennox beat him up. He wiped the sweat off the man's face. Tell me, what is that? Tell me.
Yeah, it's very disrespectful.
I love this perspective, getting it from you, especially with the Tyson thing, because Tristan and I, we were born in the early 80s, and all we know from athletes, other than what we see, that, you know, from the action of the sport, is what the media gives us. And there's this aura around him, like this invincibility aura. But you brought up some valid points about the heart, the courage, humility, and integrity, which I'm starting to think that guy lacks all of.
Yeah. Larry, if you could...
Well, you know, a lot of people... I'm sorry, a lot of people talk a lot of shit, but they can't back it up, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's very true.
Larry, if you could be 30 years old again tomorrow, and they granted you one wish to fight any other fighter in their prime, who would you choose?
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care who it was if you was paying me. I didn't get into the fight game to become the heavyweight champion of the world or to beat anybody up. I got into fighting to make some money so I could take care of myself and my family. And that's what I did. The fighting didn't matter to me because if it did, and it was all about money and everything, and it turned out to be about money, I fought 23 fights in the amateurs, traveling around for $6. And that didn't pay me nothing. So, I just did it because I liked the fight, and I wanted a chance to become the heavyweight champion of the world, and not only that, and to make some money so I could take care of my family.
Excellent.
Hey, Larry, just taking you back to when you took the title from Ken Norton back in 1978, the first 7 rounds, you were pretty much coasting. You won the first 7 rounds quite easily. He came back, he probably won 6 or 7 of the next 7 rounds, and then entering that final round. What was going through your mind? Did you think you were ahead? How are you feeling entering that last round?
Well, I knew that I was ahead. At least I thought I was way ahead than what they gave me. And the song I was singing was "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." That's why I played that song every time I came in. Ain't no stopping us now, because my body don't kill me now. You got 5 more miles to go, Yeah. So I come out with that song, "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." Because once you get into something, you can't quit. You got to go ahead and do it all and give it all you got.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do.
That was a great last round too. You guys hit each other with absolute bombs. Did you ever feel that you were going to go down or he was going to go down?
No, I wanted to win. I didn't want to go down. I didn't know if he wanted to go down or not. I was just going to hit him until I can't hit him no more.
Awesome.
Larry, what's separated, obviously, you guys being champions and just the contender that just never made it?
What's the difference?
Yeah.
The difference is you champion, you motivated, you determine it, you work, you focus on what you want. If you don't focus on what you want, you're not going to get anything. You got to really know what you want and then go get it, Like, if you go out there and say, well, I'm going to get married, and don't really mean that you're going to get married and to be married, you're not going to be married. You're gonna be cheap. You're gonna be messing around. You ain't gonna go out there. You make up your mind. That's what you're gonna do. You love this like I did. I married my wife. I'm not the greatest husband in the world, but I knew I wanted to marry my wife. I knew that, and we've been together now 36 years because I want to be dedicated. I want to give her everything that she wants. That she never had in her life, and that is somebody to take care of her, and that's me. And that motivated me, and it helped me continue to stay focused on what I want out of life.
They talk a lot about the things our actions as adults drive from our childhood. Before you were a boxer, before you were a champ, when you were a younger boy, 7, 8, 9 years old, was there a certain specific role model in your life? Was it a father, a mother, an adult that kind of inspired you to want to be so determined, to want to be successful, to kind of turn the page on, what the legacy of Larry Holmes would if he would have never became a boxer? Where did that? Who inspired you at such a young age?
Well, inspired me was my determination, dedication, and people on the street saying that I would never be anything. That's what inspired me. That motivated me. That made me want to show people that if I wanted to do it, I could do it, and I wanted to do it, so I did it. I didn't want to be inspired by anybody. I ain't guys that I like fighting. I like Joe Louis fighting. I like Muhammad Ali fighting. I like Sonny Liston fighting. I like Bob Foster fighting. And I can go on and go on and go on and tell you these things, and they motivate me. But, that I wanted to be there. I wanted to be like Bob Foster. I wanted to be like Joe Louis. I wanted to be like Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? I wanted to be like Joe Frazier. I wanted to be like these guys, man. I wanted people to say, that's Larry Holmes, that's Larry Holmes. I wanted people to ask me for autographs. I want people to take pictures with me. So therefore, they want to take pictures with a champ, not a chump. So I want to be a champ. I want to be a champ and not a chump. And I don't want to say no when I can say yeah, And the only time I would say no is somebody's getting on my nerves and I'm in a hurry and I got to go somewhere. No, I don't do that. I got as many as 2. I'm going to sign your autograph, take that picture, whatever you want. And that's the way I don't care how much money I got in my pocket or how much money I got waiting for me to be picked up. It ain't about that when it comes down to people who pay their dollar to see me fight.
Larry, when's the last time you've strapped on some gloves, whether it's to train or do a little bit of sparring?
I don't do that. I ain't done it in 2 years, 3 years.
2 or 3 years?
I don't do that. I would teach, I would show and tell them, but I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Do you do much?
I'm 66 years old now. I just turned in November, so I don't want to do it no more. I tell you, and whatever I call it, but be your announcer, but I'm not going to do it.
Do you ever find yourself?
Unless I have to. That'd be to knock somebody out of the street if they mess with me.
I don't think many people are going to mess with you, Larry.
Larry, do you ever find yourself in the mirror in the bathroom just shadow boxing, pretending it's still on, just showing the skills?
No, every now and then I do that. Every now and then, every blue moon I might do that. But hey, it's not in me no more. I can't do it.
How's the jab? Is it still pumping out?
Yeah, man. They would be doing it. That jab would be popping until the day I die.
Yeah, Larry, who would play you if somebody called you right now? We had a conversation with Jacob Durant, Stitch, and he was talking about being on set of the Creed movie. So it had me thinking, who would you pick to play you in a blockbuster?
Me.
Yeah.
I would pick me.
I have a feeling.
I'd do it. Nobody can play me better than me.
I had a feeling you'd say
that. Larry, you've done pretty well for yourself.
All right, can I go now?
Sorry,
I've been sitting in my car for an hour. You guys are talking to me. Can I go
now? We won't hold you much longer, man.
Dinner questions.
Just a quick dinner party question. You've got 5 invites to a dinner party that you're going to host. Now, you can't invite any of your close family or friends, but you can invite anyone that's dead or alive. Who would your 5 invites go to, Larry?
To my party?
Yes, sir.
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive, sir.
Ali, Joe Frazier, Kenny Norton, George Foreman, and Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston. Wow.
That's gonna be a brawl.
Brawl in the hall.
You might need to invite a ref for that party. What type of?
Well,
inspiration.
Yeah. So
I find your ring.
And one more question, Larry. For all of our listeners listening at home, we like to ask this question about giving us some motivational advice, inspiration. Somebody might be struggling with something. Could you leave the listeners with some inspiration, some advice to get them through bad things?
Give them inspiration. All I got to say to you, God got a plan, and you got a plan. But just to let you know, God is the best of planners. So you go do what you got to do. You can't fail if you don't try.
Larry Holmes, we really appreciate your time today. It's been an honour to speak to you, man. So we do appreciate you taking the time out to speaking to us today, man.
Thank you so much, Larry.
All right, send me $5 in the mail, okay?
Man, I'm gonna send you 50. I'm gonna send you 50.
And our Australian dollar's terrible, so you might get like 80 cents.
Oh, okay, that's okay. Then. Let's build it up then, okay? Yes.
Excellent.
Larry, my man.
All right.
You have a great day.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Larry Holmes, the great champ of all time, the man that beat Muhammad Ali. What are you feeling from him?
Larry, when I think of Larry Holmes, especially when he, listening to him speak, loyalty and also determination and self-belief, which we get a lot from these fighters, and it's really important. Especially, it's interesting to see that Larry still talks like he's in his 20s.
He does, like the way he answered the last couple of questions of who would play himself in a movie. Himself. He loves, obviously, when he said, we asked him who would he fight if he could go back to his prime in his 30s. It doesn't matter who he would fight because when he was in his 30s, he took everyone on.
Yeah, and Larry he lost his first fight at 36 years old. I love the part about Tyson though, because especially our generation, excuse me, our generation only knows. Mike was kind of glorified in the sense of one-punch knockouts, brutal knockouts, and he was a very imposing character in the ring. So, and he was very, out there. What's the word I'm looking for? Just eccentric. And what Larry said, though, coming from a champion's perspective like Larry Holmes, he says, he's not a guy that I would look up to. He's not a legend. Legends don't tell their opponents they're going to eat their kids. Legends don't bite their opponents. It was just interesting to hear his perspective. It really made me think, too.
Oh, there's only so much you can say to someone without going past just promoting the fight. Like, I think Conor McGregor probably does it the best, where he can get under the skin of his opponents, but after the fight, whether he wins or loses, he's very respectful in the way. And there's only a certain amount that he would go to. Like, he would never try to taunt someone's children or, go after their family. Some other people have done that before, and I think that's where they lose respect.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to have to disagree with Conor, though. I'm going to disagree with Conor.
Actually.
Well, look what McGregor just said, though, with the Diaz fight with Nate at the press conference. And McGregor talks about he was making fun of Nate for teaching children jiu-jitsu, and he was making fun of Nate for teaching classes in his community. Once I heard that, I felt fear in Conor's voice, and I felt like he was worried about the fight, and it showed up during that match. If you guys are listening, you know what happened. Nate dominated and submitted him. So that's
dominated.
He dominated him, man.
Way.
I watched that fight over and over. Nate beats him at 170. Nate beats him at 155 if they fight at 200.
Big call.
And I picked both fights. And I picked both fights.
You did pick both fights.
Yeah.
But
Check
you
my
also picked
Facebook.
McGregor out first, though, didn't you?
No, what?
Yes, you did. A few weeks prior to that, you actually picked McGregor.
I never once said that. I'm a Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz fan through and through. I never once said, Conor, if you could find that audio, anyone listening, send it to me. I'll give you $100. I guarantee you never find me on that. But back to Larry. It's about Larry Holmes. It's about the Eastern Assassin. We can talk trash back and forth all we want. But how important is also like the things you go through when you're young? Those he referred back to him being a boy and having nothing. And there's that quote he says, from dirt poor to filthy rich, and with him it all came through determination, hard work, and even with his businesses. If you look into it, man, the guy stayed in Easton, ran multiple businesses, employed countless of the Easton locals.
Yeah, he's creating something from the community, which is the greatest thing, and he hasn't left the community, which is also something that's very, very rare in today's world. When you think that Easton's probably not as he could probably live and just go down the road, and Philly's even a lot more sexier. Going to New York, he could go to New York. He could go to Miami.
Go to Florida. Go to L.A. Live where the weather's nice, man. You got the money. Get out of PA. Yeah. I went to college in PA, man.
But I guess
Run.
it's something that he just loves about the place, and I guess everyone loves him there too. Maybe it's something down there that he can stay. His aura just remains because he's the champ.
Yeah, finally we mentioned on the show that they finally gave him that statue, and it's something that I know was brought up. If you look in past interviews he gave years ago, he was asked that a couple times and it was never a big deal. But you got to think that that's a big deal to actually be alive and see yourself in bronze in your hometown, immortalized basically.
Well, I guess it's modern day Rocky Balboa. Rocky's statue. I've been to that actually in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly. Yeah, no, I've never been.
It's beautiful.
I went to college on the other side of the state in Pittsburgh.
That was probably one of my childhood dreams, to always see
Rocky?
Rocky statue.
Yeah.
It's now at the bottom of the steps. They've moved it a few times. It's huge though. It is absolutely huge. It's a beautiful statue, and obviously Rocky Balboa really does reflect what Philadelphia is all about. So it's awesome that because I think originally they actually moved it to the Spectrum, and then when the Spectrum was torn down, they moved it back to the art, because that's an art gallery at the top of the steps.
Yeah, it's not a library or a museum.
No, it's an art gallery.
Okay, yeah.
It's quite beautiful, actually.
I always thought it was a museum, but Larry Holmes also, when he was talking about the people he fought and the biggest punchers, and he was talking about Spinks, Tyson. He didn't even mention Tyson. It seems like he still had he has beef with that. I think it has to do too with Tyson seeing later after the ring, he's kind of like revitalized his image a little bit.
Yeah, I think Larry was unfortunately caught in an era where he was probably 5 years too late for the likes of Ali, for the likes of Frazier, Foreman, etc., etc. And then for Mike Tyson, he was probably 5 or 6 years too old. So he was kind of caught in the middle where that, apart from Ken Norton, he really had no real challenges to his actual throne.
Yeah, I think he was 10 years too late for Tyson. He was an old man when he fought Tyson.
Yeah, so I think Ali was kind of out of his prime when they fought.
Yeah.
And then he was out of his prime when he fought Tyson.
Yeah,
so
I
I think
agree.
that's probably why he doesn't get the respect that he is due reserved.
And you can't, and that's something you can't control.
He can't
But
control at all.
a stat that I do love that he did control is how he went out. You never see that, let alone a heavyweight, but to go out on a 6-win fight winning streak. He didn't go out getting knocked out. He went out on top. And then also, when you asked the question, has he put the gloves on? And when he answered, he made it sound like it had been years. And he said it had been 2 years. He's still, I mean,
Yeah,
Larry's
I'm sure he's still
60, what is he,
shadowboxing,
65, 66? Still boxing, man. I wouldn't want to get hit by that guy.
No way.
The
Still looks
Eastern
in good
assassin.
shape, actually. He's
He speaks well, and he's really passionate, and that's one thing that never leaves. I get is that energy that we bring to the table, whether you use it for positive or negative. With a world champion and a great like him, you could still hear it in his voice, and that'll always be with him.
definitely. I think confidence is a huge thing. He still carries it, and I think that's why he's still successful to today, because he's just got enormous confidence in himself to be doing good for himself, doing good for others. So I think that's a huge thing.
You would think that in our society that they would play that a bigger role, but unfortunately they'd rather see the villain. I mean, it's sexier to sell in regards to, people will read about a guy who commits crimes and loud and brash rather than a guy who lives his life more on like a straight and narrow path like Holmes did.
Fortunately, that's the day and age, but we got a lot to learn from Larry Holmes. Like, I've learned plenty from him just from today. Obviously, setting a good example, I think, is huge. I think.
What'd you learn from him today? I like that question.
Yeah, setting a good example, I think, is the number one thing that I learned from him. Is like, that's one thing you can control, is the way you do behave. And, and you can only control what's in front of you too. Don't try to, like we just spoke about, he can't control who he gets to fight. He can just control what he does in the fight. So
He almost has like without the religious undertones, but a preacher mentality to where the discipline and that's how I took when he was speaking to me. I guess he reminded me of one of my neighbors, Mr. Simpson, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Mr. Simpson was a pastor, and he was a very, obviously great man, but he didn't mince his words. He was very...
Yeah, discipline was obviously...
Yeah, he was very disciplined.
They grew up in 30s and 40s and 50s. And discipline, what it is today, is like different. Obviously, they had different rules and things like that with the way they can get punished and all sorts of different little things that obviously changed the way that they were brought up. But I think that's probably something that we do lack in society today is discipline, especially in the wake of technology being so big. I don't know, there's something soft about today's society, in my opinion.
I don't know, man. When you say soft, do you mean because...
I think children aren't as disciplined as they were back when our parents were younger, I think. I think they had to do it a lot tougher than we did.
But then again, man,
we didn't have the same tools and...
But they didn't have to deal with the things that kids have to deal with now. Like, we didn't have to deal with social media bullying. We didn't have to deal with image issues and having everything at your fingertips. And that sounds like these are all good things, having the media and the ability to go to your iPhone and get news and find out answers. But at the same time, I think that would be a tough way to grow up too, though, in terms of all the distractions. If you have a kid, 13, 14, now there's so many more distractions than when I was 14. I had no problem going to the ball field every single day because that's all I had.
That was life, do you know what I mean? Like going to the ball field, that was beautiful.
But who knows how I would have reacted if I would have had like an iPhone, a tablet, if I would have had like PS4s. Do you know what I'm saying?
I can't stand kids that are just indoors all day on their PS4 and
I agree.
Not living life. I think what you did, like I used to do it as well, going to the park, kicking the ball. That's what growing up's all about. Now, unfortunately, kids of today's society has become easy for their parents just to...
It's the parents, though.
Put them on those...
But it's not. I wouldn't say it's the kid's problem. I think it starts from the top down.
Yeah, that's what I mean by discipline. Obviously, the kid can't discipline themselves.
I was at dinner last weekend, and I was just blown away. And I know it happens everywhere. I just hadn't seen it firsthand until this moment. And there's a table of 4. You have your mother, the father, and there's 2 kids. and the parents are drinking wine. The one kid's probably 7, the other kid's 3, and right when the wine gets there, the dad gives both kids an iPhone, just to so they wouldn't talk.
That's
I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's parenting though. Now that's their
Look,
parenting.
if you're in a packed lift,
Man.
and there's 10 people in there, how many of them are using their phone?
Oh, man.
9 of them.
Man.
There's no reception in the actual elevator. What are you looking at?
I didn't have a phone until college.
Yeah, I know.
These
I had my first
7-year-olds.
phone when I was like 18.
I
Now
just
you've got
got-
a little 6-year-old with an iPhone.
Guys, I know you're listening out there from America. Some of my buddies probably from Youngstown, maybe my boys in Long Beach, but man, I didn't get an iPhone until I moved to Sydney. So like a smartphone, living in like my last phone in Vegas before I moved here, man, it was like what were they called?
A brick.
No, but it was like anyway. I'm way behind the line on
Nokia 5110.
yeah, I'm way behind the line on the advancement of technology, but it's a little more up to date here in Sydney.
That's why you love your phone so much.
No, I love my phone because it keeps me in contact with everyone, man. I live, I've lived in a lot of different places, and you're instant. That's why I do like the advancement in technology. You're instantly connected with people, and you have no excuse now. Before, you could hide behind, making a phone call is kind of like, it takes time, which it's bullshit. It doesn't. But no, it's a simple like text. You just send a message, or it's way easier. And there's so many different ways. You don't have to call. You could tag somebody. You could text somebody. You could send an emoji. You could send a video. There's so many different options to stay contacted, stay connected. So
I just would have loved to live in a day and time when there was none of that.
you are conservative. You're like a 90-year-old grandpa though.
Oh, no.
I would so you don't even want electricity. This guy.
I love electricity. I just think that today's day and age, people just hide behind texts and hide behind their phone.
You sound like you're 7 years old. What's so bad? You don't like kids, do you?
I love kids.
Yeah, you just don't like.
I've got 2 goddaughters. How many do you have?
I don't know if I count. I don't know what goddaughters are.
My godchildren.
Yeah, let's not go down. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I have. Let's see, 6 nieces and
I love
nephews.
children. I think the
Yeah, it's just.
killer of society, man.
I think that though a lot of times people it's easy to defend the side that some people will say where we're evolving with technology is a bad thing. Some will say it's a good thing. I think it's just as easy to find the good in it though. I'm definitely glad and fortunate that it has evolved in this sense because we wouldn't be able to do this show 10 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. It's different. little
You know what I'm
things
saying?
that's gonna have advantages, but yeah, I think I don't know. I might want to turn my phone off for a few days.
Oh, I'd agree with that. Yeah, you're always on your
It'd be
phone.
interesting to see. I hate it.
Yeah. So the thing is too though, if you're running businesses, you have to stay connected. I did this yesterday. So because it's a holiday, this episode's not airing live, but it's Easter weekend, and I did my last session with Sam at 9 a.m. I shut my phone off. I said all day. I shut my phone off for like 3 hours. I turned it back on, and it just went. It was crazy. It lit up like a Christmas tree. There were 30 notifications, and it's because of that I keep it on. It kind of keeps you in the loop. But it'd be nice to just disconnect. That's why I float though. So get in the tanks, isolation tanks. Check it out.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Let's rock.
All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate your support as normal. If you haven't subscribed yet, please, if you could just subscribe, leave us a quick 5-star review. That'll be most appreciated. And also, just tell your friends on social media and other communication devices.
Yeah, see,
Just
there
try
we
to
go
maybe use your
again.
desktop. Don't use your phone.
Tell all your friends. iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Twitter, Insta, Facebook. Hit us up. We appreciate the support and the continuous contribution as well. So let's rock and roll.
Yeah, get those kids outside too. Take those iPads and those PlayStations from them. It's
for the
ridiculous.
kids. Tristan loves them kids.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, thanks guys
Yeah.
again. Johnny, you have a great week,
You
man.
too, man. See you later.
See you, bro.
Peace.
It makes me wanna creep.
I got something for your mind, your body, and your soul. I got something for your mind, your body, and your soul.
The Vision Board Podcast, hosted by Jonny Stofko and Tristan Cannell.